Bob writes about it. Jim talks about it. But Chuck did something about it.
Foreman on a big hole across the 10. He's something else. He's out in touchdown land. He's something else, baby.
Now, here's longtime columnist Bob Sansevere, Fox 9's Jim Rich, and the great number 44,
Double 4.
Chuck Foreman.
Welcome to the JimBob Sports Jamboree with Vikings legend Chuck Foreman, Fox 9's Jim Rich, the superstar Mike Morris from the window store. Our guy, Tyler Ganz, he brings you the JimBob Sports Jamboree every week, and a very special guest. Chuck brought him in from Maryland, right? That's where you were, right? Way down in Miami.
Frederick.
Oh, I even brought him down to Miami with me. That's how tight we were.
Well,
he was a running back at Miami.
I know. Well, and that Blood. Now,
Blood. Richard Hall, Dickie Hall, whatever you want to call him. I call him Blood, but
now, all right, Blood. I know Chuck's nervous. You're going to say too much about him.
Yeah, that's right.
But you told me, and I didn't realize this. You were running back after 4 or 5 years after Chuck, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. Now here's your backup for 2 years was a guy named Otis Anderson, right?
Oh, he was in front of me.
He passed. He was in front of you.
He passed me.
No, Ricky, you were starting, and then Otis came.
Yeah, he's a year younger.
Yeah, but they wanted you to switch to fullback, and you were too stubborn to do it. All right, talking to the mic.
Those were the days.
Okay.
I was with some great athletes at the University of Miami.
Now you did see. You mentioned earlier too that you grew up watching Chuck, and how we know that he won state championships in track, and he was a heck of a basketball player, and he learned the spin move watching Earl Monroe. You watched him. How great an athlete was he? Was he the best to come out of that school?
Chuck just fails.
He was great, and they were all great athletes. He had the most strongest and most promising team that ever assembled in Frederick. Chucky was special. You know, he did it all.
Okay, the great thing is
Chucky.
It had to be a great team
Chucky.
because Chuck couldn't even make
Only
it
your
as
homeboy.
starting running back. He was a tight end.
Right, and that's true. I was a tight end defensive tackle.
That's incredible.
And then I got to Miami. I went to Miami as a tight end defensive tackle. But of course, when I got there, I was big guys. I knew I wasn't playing defense. But when we hit the 40s, I was beating everybody in the 40s, and that's when they came and asked me that I want to try running back, I guess. But yeah.
So, all right, but when you went to same high school, right?
No.
Oh, okay. All right.
He went to the Crosstown Robbery.
Oh.
Ah.
So then, but when you went to Miami, did you? How many years were you the starter? Did you start? And did you break any of Chuck's records?
No, I played my first year, and I scored 3 touchdowns. And then after that, I didn't see no action after that.
That's when Otis showed up.
Oh, he was awesome too. He stood 6'3", and his arms were past his knees as he stood erect.
He was.
And I told Chucky, I said, "This guy's gonna be awesome."
It turned out.
Yeah, but you got to
pretty
give yourself
good.
some credit due. Here's what I'm going to say about that. Yeah, they came, but they asked you to move the fullback, and you were too stubborn to move the fullback. That's why you should have done that. All right, well, that's neither here nor there. But
All right, so how did you guys become some good buddies
Well-
if he was a crosstown rival?
Well, first of all, when he got to the high school was just built. Because
Okay.
everybody used to go to Frederick High School, and then they built Thomas Johnson High School. His uncle was my best friend, Daryl Hall. That's how I got that. We used to let him hang around with us, and he's always been kind of like followed us around.
13, I bought the liquor.
All right, now
Good thing the microphone wasn't over there. The microphone wasn't over there for that, Chuck. It's okay.
We're gonna need
It's
you to have
okay.
the microphone.
right. Hey, what's he doing?
And they wouldn't give me a
Oh no! I wasn't like that. You ever heard of country club beer? Malt beer back in the day.
liquor.
Liquor,
Colt
okay.
45.
Okay,
45 stuff.
myself, Daryl, a guy named Frankie Thomas, and we would all get together on Friday not that we were drinkers, but after football game or something, and then he would be in the car. We couldn't go into any place and buy any beer or anything like that.
Because everybody knew who you were.
Well, not only that, we just wasn't old enough. But
There is that.
He could go in there at 13 and he could buy it.
He looked older than you?
Yeah.
At 13?
Full beard.
Yeah,
Oh,
he was like that.
All right.
Yeah.
Chuck, is it okay? I don't know.
But-
How did he get the nickname Blood? I mean, can you tell that story, or is it a story you don't tell?
Like, maybe we should talk about the weather.
I think,
Well,
Deflected.
when you're real tight back where we're coming from, it means you're blood, you know.
You're blood?
You know,
Yep.
you're the same.
Yeah.
And so that means you're family. So that's like.
So are you the only one that calls him that?
No, everybody calls him that. And we know.
Because he's family with everybody.
Right. Well, I call my other friends blood too,
Okay.
but not like him. He's the original.
Just like you're the original.
It's a long
Iceman,
story,
right?
He's the OB.
He's a long story, but my friend Richard Dickey Blood, he's the most loyal guy you could ever meet, the best friend you could ever have.
Jeez.
If you ever call him, you know he'd be there, even if he had to walk all the way to Minnesota. If I called him, he couldn't get there any other way. He'd probably hitchhike.
Well, he was on the show, was it 5 years ago?
Yeah.
Or longer than that? I
Yeah.
remember it was a while ago.
Yeah, he's all right, but he's that kind of guy. Good man. My mother loved him to death, and when my mother brings you in, you know you're good. But he's been kind of like my little brother.
So
That's
you
awesome.
guys going to Manny's again? Because I remember last time you were here at Manny's, you got a pretty good meal out of Chuck. I always get a good meal out of Chuck.
Come on.
I always get a great meal out of Chuck.
And the only thing is,
He's
like
like a brother.
Like for instance, this trip up here, I was thinking about it, and I'm like, yeah, I better tell him there's a limit on the price of the meals. You know what I mean? Because the guy can eat.
So much for loyalty when it comes to finance, right?
Yeah, well, it's like, hey, Mike, if you knew what I knew, you had to put a limit. Because if like we were talking about Manny's,
Yes.
you know that big steak they got down there?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
The
yeah.
tomahawk.
That tomahawk steak.
yeah.
Big cowboy.
And I had to tell him, hey man, look, help yourself to the menu, but don't order tomahawk
No tomahawk.
because he would order the tomahawk.
Of course. Of course.
And he would eat every bite of it.
All right, Mike, when you guys went out, what were the fights like to pay the bill? Because you obviously can put the food down,
Yeah.
and so
Well,
could your teammates.
yeah,
So
there-
how did those
It was easy.
get sorted out?
Super easy. It was the rookie in your group. And that was how it went. We'd go down to Manny's, and the rookie in your group, if you had a rookie offensive lineman, he was paying it, and he didn't have a choice. But in fact, even if he could make the trip or not, he was paying for it. So he didn't even have to be present to pay for it.
What?
Oh yeah. It could be any. Doesn't have to be drafted. If you're on the team, you're an offensive lineman, practice player or not, you're paying for the.
But that's after you make the team, though.
That's after you make the team.
Okay.
And there was also a time when a certain player made Pro Bowl as a punter, and decided he would take the entire special teams group down to Manny's for food. And of course, that being Mitch Berger.
Yeah.
And
You guys didn't
We're
order
eating-
any burgers, I take it.
we did not order burgers, and there was a certain special team hitman named Chris Walsh who decided he would start ordering bottles of champagne.
Oh.
And he had maybe a couple 13, 14 too many. And he was handing bottles of champagne to different tables. He was walking them back and putting them on someone's table and say, here, this is on us. This is on us. 8 or 9 bottles of champagne on Berger's ticket. And when he got the tab and saw all that champagne, he was livid. He was so mad. I mean, thousands of dollars just on the champagne. Thousands of dollars. And he was sitting there and he had a few too many.
But what could
And he didn't
say?
care. And you know what? The next day he got him in the locker room and he said, You're paying for all that champagne. He told Walt, you're paying for all the champagne. Because he was walking around the entire restaurant like a waiter, handing people bottles of champagne.
Who's this, Chris Walsh?
No way.
Chris Walsh.
Oh, well,
I
he
mean to
must have
tell
been
you-
a little touch.
Oh man, he was beautiful.
He said he had a few 13,
couple,
14 pops.
He had a couple.
So
He had a
why-
couple. And I don't know what I don't drink champagne. I don't drink very much at all. But what is the Dom? That's like
Yeah,
$500,
Dom,
$600,
yeah.
$700, $800 a bottle.
Wow.
That's what he was doing.
That's
what he was
I
doing.
would have had to fight him too.
Yeah, I think there might have been
Yeah.
repercussions on that one if it were me. So thousands of dollars, and just the food was too thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
Ordering what you'd want to order normally, and it's still, God, you talk about 8 or 10 offensive linemen. You're losing money. You're losing money.
Was Manny's the go-to whenever you guys went
Yep.
like that?
We actually stayed at that hotel for home games too. So a lot of us would just go down there every week and meet down there and have a bite to eat, and then
That
go.
was before they moved it to the other
Yep,
location.
absolutely.
Yeah, you guys used to be down in the hotel.
That's right.
Was it the
right.
W then?
No, it was the Hilton.
Hilton.
That was
Okay.
that's right.
Yeah, it was the
That's right.
Hilton downtown.
And it was either the Ocean Air or
Yeah.
Manny's,
Yeah.
right across the
Either
hall.
one of the two.
No itchy bonds. Never went to itchy bonds.
No.
No, never went over there.
That
A lot of guys did. The
that-
coaches would go over there, but we
Because
never.
that was cheaper.
Yeah.
Ishabon.
Oh yeah.
What's
Okay.
Sid's place? What was that one?
Murray's.
Murray's. That's right.
Murray, but that didn't. Never mind.
Nobody, okay.
Murray's was like the old school
Yep.
kind of regular steak that they charge you a lot of money for.
The silver butter knife
But
But
steak.
yeah,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
that was Sid Hartman's
The Ruth
steak.
Chris, yeah.
Yeah, did you
Still
ever
the same.
get any? Now, Sid said he would give everybody for being on the show. You got a silver butter knife steak from Donna Murray's. Did
Son of
you
a bitch,
ever
Morris.
get one? You were on with
Never-
him, Chuck.
no.
You were on with him.
I
Did you
never
ever get
got one. I never
Nope,
got one.
nope.
I don't
No, I
know
never
if they
did.
were available. You think they were available?
I don't know if they were. I was never offered one, so I never knew one way or another. Morris, son of a bitch. You messed that game up for everybody.
I mean, the way he used to approach you for a interview after the game.
Oh man.
Like, hey, can I say that?
I just did.
I can't.
Oh man.
We get the idea. Hey,
Yeah.
The word "hole" was in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you start the interview off like that,
word
then they
holes in it.
expect you to give him a good answer. I'm like, okay, but it's Sid Hartman. You gotta let him.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just one. It was, hey,
No,
hole, hole,
Oh,
hey, hole.
yeah.
Well, you know, you were in the media.
Oh, we heard
And I
it.
told you, all right, we gotta wrap up in a second. Let's come back because we could talk Sid forever, but we'll take a quick break in the JimBob Sports Jamboree. Be right back. Welcome back to the JimBob Sports Jamboree with Vikings legend Chuck Foreman, Fox 9's Jim Rich, the superstar Mike Morris, a superstar in the window and many more industries, Tyler Ganz, owner of the Window Store. Window Store brings you the JimBob Sports Jamboree. And Tyler, what kind of deals you got cooking?
Yeah, so right now we're looking for flagship houses on streets. So we want to put our name on more streets. More people that we get in touch with, put a sign in their yard, then we kind of get more customers.
Hey, we'd love to have you put your sign on County Road 33 in Buffalo.
Yeah. So we give extraordinary discounts if you're the first customer on the street. It's called our ad program. You do a couple things for us. Give us a Google review. You put a sign in your yard. We give you ridiculous discounts to go forward with the project because we know you're going to help us find that next customer. That's what we've got going on right now. I take advantage of that at windowstoreinc.com.
All right, and now, Mike, you've got a few things that we need to talk about. Palucci, their stores at Palucci. Hey,
Yeah, the Polici hardware stores. Oh, yeah. I mean, they're also called Ace Hardware stores, but they're owned by the Policis. There are 4 of those franchises that they own. They've been in the business for 30-plus years. They've got Zumbrota, Farmington, Rosemount, Egan, 4 locations, and they are there for you, okay? You have the discount on select 20-volt Master, DeWalt, and Craftsman, and that's what they have the specials on for this month, okay? But don't just stop there. They got the Weber grills. They've got all the things you need for your lawn, the Scott turf builder, everything. So get on down there. Tell them the superstar Mike Morris sent you, and they will take good care of you. Ace is the place with the helpful hardware folks, and the Policis own 4 of those.
and there's only one way to get down there if you need a vehicle.
Well, one way, I mean, there are a lot of ways you can get down there, I suppose, but the best way to get down there would be in a Dodge Ram. That'd be the best way you could do it. Now, you could end up like hitchhiking down there, I suppose, to one of those places. But if you want to get down there and have plenty of payload to be able to bring back stuff and fertilizer and mulch and everything else from Ace, you'd take a Dodge Ram down there. Dodge of Burnsville, that'd be the place. Cliff Road and 35W in Burnsville. Drive past all the dumpsters and all the garbage collectors known as every other car dealership in the state. And head on over to Dodge of Burnsville. They take great care of you. They'll roll out the red carpet. You can see the 5 gold stars above the door as you drive in. They don't really have any of that. They don't have that. But you can drive in there, though. And it is still Cliff Road and 35W. And they are named Mark and Adam Saba. Go in there and tell them hi. And let them know that Superstar Mike Morris said to come on down there and make a trade, make a great deal, and pick out one of the cars in the back lot. New or used, they've got it all. Dodge of Burnsville.
All right. Now, we talked about Sid at the end of the last segment. I knew him because I started working. I worked at the Star Tribune in 1984 when I came here. And he was the columnist, and he did everything. And my biggest competition for stories was not the guy from the Pioneer Press. It was Sid. Because, I mean, there were times I had to fight him. I'd have a story. He goes, his default was, I got that. You know, he already had it, he said, even if he didn't.
Yeah.
But he did not want to get, he was so competitive with the guys he did. And once in the time I knew him, and he only died, what, was it 3 or 4 years ago?
Probably.
At 100?
Right.
I got him to say my name once correctly. I even had him break it down. Sansevere is what he called me. And I said, Sid, let's try this. Sansevere. And he goes, Sansevere. And it took a while to get him to actually say it right. I thought he was just goofing, but that's the way he did it. And one of my favorite things, because you mentioned the way he would talk to you guys. He said that. Did you play with Brian Habib?
I did.
Oh, he said that to Habib. And Habib was he was kind of a...
Well, let's just tell you. I'll just finish that for you. When he made Brian mad, that's an understatement. He went back in the back room, and for whatever reason, Gary Zimmerman had brought a 12-gauge shotgun to show everyone his trap and skeet shooting gun, his new gun. Habib comes out of the equipment room, packing the 12-gauge and points it right at Sid. And Sid runs for the door. I mean, it's an empty gun, but I'm like, Brian, you can't point a firearm at somebody like that. You can't do that. He goes, you know Habib, big, just
he kind of
nasty.
Off?
He's not offensive. He was a little bit off.
I mean, a little off.
I struck me as a guy who lacked a sense of humor.
Yep, he did. That's what it was. I mean, that's him in a nutshell right there. He didn't have much of a sense of humor. And, of course, my first year here, he was my roommate.
Oh, he was?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow.
So, I mean, I put up with him for a year. What a piece of work. But he was big. He was nasty. And, I mean, he could play ball. He ended up on that same team with Zimmerman with the Denver Broncos.
He won a Super Bowl, right?
Yeah, I think two of them. Yeah, they both did. I mean, he was a roughneck. He was. And I'm telling you, Sid just had gone overboard with him, and he goes back. Wouldn't you know it, Gary had brought in his shotgun to show everyone. And he goes back and gets the damn thing out of the case and comes out and points it right at Sid. And Sid runs for the door. He heads for the door, and he breaks out of those back doors that go out to the loading dock. I mean, you want to talk about, he had Sid hook, line, and sinker. He thought he was going to get shot at. So, wow. Oh, my God, it was terrible.
Like some of the stories you can tell, but you can't tell.
Yeah, exactly.
Some of them are worse than that.
Well, I'll tell you one you shouldn't tell. This is at a Super Bowl, and I feel terrible. I felt terrible.
But you're going to tell him.
I'm going to tell him. Hey, he's gone. He's gone. So, I at the time there were friends there. There was a girl that I was dating. This was before I met my wife, but she had a friend there, and we sent her to Sid's door like she was a hooker. And somebody and it was so sad because he opened the door in his PJs. He had his pajamas on, top button, all buttoned up, and he was just bewildered, like what's going on. Which I give him credit, so he wasn't used to having women come to the door.
You can say hooker on the radio? I didn't think you could say that.
Yeah, we just can't say the front part of hole.
Well, I guess we've had some characters
here
in town.
Big time characters.
How did no punishment for that? No nothing. Like
nothing at all whatsoever. No one said anything to anyone, and they could have reported that, I think, and Steve Rollins would have gone back and said, "Look, you got to keep the gun in the case. Don't take that out."
horses.
He was the security, the
He
top
was
of
the
security
security
for
guy,
us, and he was
So
with us
this
for
was
years.
the Denny era then.
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah.
It was.
Wow.
Yeah, and
That would be
unbelievable.
breaking news.
Oh,
today.
absolutely. You would have seen that, heard that real time.
Yeah, it would have broken out of whatever ESPN program was on to say somebody pulls a gun on somebody
A shotgun.
Yeah.
in the locker room.
12 gauge. Oh, yeah.
You get suspended now, the
Not only
NBA
that,
guys
Sid
for
Hartman.
even doing
Yeah, you can't even do a fake finger gun
You
now.
can't use a finger gun.
You gotta do a finger gun.
Man, this was real deal.
Was it an over-under?
Over under. It was like the one you'd take to the horse and
Okay.
hunt club, and you shoot clays.
Horses.
Yeah.
You go and shoot horses.
No, you don't shoot horses, or you don't hunt horses. But my God, you definitely go to the horse and hunt club
You
to
know,
shoot.
you know what Habib should have said? You want to talk about hole? Take a look down these two holes.
Yeah. Well, he
Of this
gave him a
over-under.
good. He gave him a great bird's eye view of those two cylinders. Yeah, he got to look right down the barrels.
Oh, man.
I mean, he was 10 feet away and pointing that thing, and I thought, oh my God. I mean, he was doing it as a joke. That was, oh my God. He was a little tweaked. Like
Were
Chuck
you
was.
on the team when they actually went to like the horse and hunt club to shoot?
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, I
They did
had
it-
events out there too.
Okay, because they did it. What was the Vikings, and they invited the media, so I shot with them. It was fun.
Yeah, it's a great place. It's an awesome place.
Yeah.
They have like the U.S. Open there for clays.
Oh, they
and
do
skeet.
for-
yeah, they
for
do. That's
skeet?
for nationals. Yeah, they have nationals out there
They do everything there out there.
Everything.
Right? Sporting clays, skeet, and trap.
and trap. All
Yeah.
three.
Yeah, it's. And what do you shoot? Do you shoot all three?
I like the clay. I like to go down the clay courses. They've got 5 different clay
So you-
courses, and I
So
like
you'll
trap
do-
too.
Okay,
But
you
I-
like the sporting
Sporting
clays.
clays.
Absolutely. Yeah, there's 50 shots on each course.
Did you guys, Tyler, Chuck, Jim, you shoot too? Do you shoot
All the time.
sporting clays?
All the
Not
time.
very well. Usually they just keep rolling away. The ones that go across the ground. That never gets
Oh, the rabbits.
I've
Oh,
been
yeah.
on multiple
Rabbit.
leagues. Multiple leagues.
Yes.
I love shooting.
I do too.
How about you, Chuck?
I have only shot actually one time, and that was when I went hunting with Bud Grant, Roy Winston, Wally Hilgenberg. I didn't have a gun, but they got me up to go with them that morning. And then Wally Hilgenberg insisted that I shoot that shotgun, just to solidify that I was okay.
That you were one of them.
Yeah.
Was this as a rookie?
Yeah, I was a rookie.
Oh.
So what were they hunting? Pheasants or
Pheasants
ducks?
and pheasants.
Okay.
We were chasing.
Oh my
and-
God.
That's hanging in my front door.
Yeah.
How many points is that thing?
That's a 6x6 elk from Wyoming.
Jesus.
That's a big animal. That is huge.
That is a big animal.
Look at
Takes
that.
up the entire entryway of the house.
Oh, he looks small next to you when you held up his antlers, I'm sure.
Well, that's not me. That's my pretty girlfriend.
I know that. I'm talking about when you held it up after
It
you
looks
shot
like
it.
you though. Funny enough, it strikingly looks
I wanna
like
see
you.
your pretty girl.
So at a glance. At a
let me-
glance.
here.
I'm talking about the thing on the
she's
wall though.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay,
I'll
same
put 'em
thing.
together.
Does she,
Tyler.
Does she still got you overwhelmed like that?
Oh, yeah. Every day.
Boy.
Same thing I hear. You outpunted your coverage.
That's
you
right.
did. You
That's
did.
it. I'll put on my
Most
coverage
certainly.
by
So good
far.
for you for that. All right, you know what? Let's take another quick break. We got plenty to chat about yet. We got to talk even for a few minutes about Aaron Rodgers. Finally, we don't have to talk about him coming to the Vikings.
Right.
And we gotta let everybody know where Chuck's going to be coming up. So we're going to take a quick break. JimBob Sports Jamboree. Be right back. We're back with more of the JimBob Sports Jamboree with Vikings legend Chuck Foreman, another Vikings legend, the superstar Mike Morris, the legend of sports broadcasting in Minnesota, Jim Rich from Fox 9, the dean of sportscasters.
No.
The dean.
It's only the other guys all retired.
He'll never
Because they
retire.
got paid way more than me. That's why they were able to quit. So that's the only reason I'm still around, because I'm just trying to catch up.
And Tyler Ganz, owner of the Window Store, which is the sponsor of the JimBob Sports Jamboree. Now, I got to tell people, Chuck, yes, clap, clap, clap.
Stop it.
With the Chuck will be for the Vikings legend meet and greet. Skull Marketing brings you Chuck Foreman, June 13th. That's at 3 o'clock, Walmart, Rochester. Come visit the Rochester Walmart. The 21st, Vikings meet and greet with Chuck at the Andover Walmart. And on the 28th, the meet and greet with Chuck at the Blaine Walmart. And brought to you by Skull Marketing. And Chuck, we've been talking, the Buffalo Rodeo.
Right.
What?
the Walmart appearances, they're also fundraisers.
Oh, yeah, for the Children's Miracle Network.
Oh, great.
So that's what's
Yeah,
cool
so that's
about
what's-
this. And you've done this for years.
For years with Walmart and the Children's Miracle Network. So come on out there and help us out with they do such a great job with everything at the Children's Miracle Network. So, and they help so many good people. So
Do you buy things for them? Do you donate? Like, how does
no,
that
they
work?
come. People they come in, they buy stuff, and then a portion of what we sell goes to the Children's Miracle Network. Except
Good for you.
What the cost of goods to get it. Well, so we can keep buying stuff.
Love that.
To
Right,
do
so all the
that.
profits
So
go
the
to the
profits go to
Children's
Children's Miracle
Got it.
Network.
That's what's great about
Yeah,
it. Chuck.
so that's what we do.
Awesome.
It is great. And Chuck, I believe you're going to be at the Buffalo Rodeo 19th, 20th, 21st of this month. It's the 71st rodeo in Buffalo, the longest running rodeo in the state. And you're going to be there. You're going to be signing autographs with Skull Marketing and Tailgate Spices. Will be there. And I want to get you, our guy, Justin, from Tires Plus, he will kick off the rodeo. He did a great job last year. Now, you know more. He's an amateur. He announces amateur wrestling. So I got him to open the rodeo with the Let's Get Ready to Rumble, which is copyrighted apparently. What's not copyrighted is Let's Get Ready to Rodeo, and that's what he did. And I want to get you to do that.
You better copyright that before someone steals it from you.
Yeah,
Swoop that
let me
up.
share. So we'll get that, and Tyler's going to be there. He actually, and thank you, Tyler, your sponsor. You're one of the sponsors of the Buffalo Rodeo, which
Yeah,
is
yeah.
terrific.
I'm on the one of the gates, right, with the bull.
You're right.
gates.
You're right. Yeah, you are. You're on one of the.
Do I have to ride a bull too?
every
or-
eye if you want.
No,
He is
God.
one of the bulls.
Hell no.
Actually,
The bull named Tyler. Jeepers Christmas.
your feet would be dragging on the ground probably if you're type 6'8". You don't see a lot of guys your size that are doing bull riding.
Yeah, well,
Saddle bronc, bull riding, bareback, breakaway, tie down, the steer wrestling,
I think my calling is sponsor.
Stay with that one.
and you're dang good at it. Let me tell you. And Mike, there's a possibility because your daughter's coming in town.
Possibility.
Let us know because we'd love to have you there too. And,
Okay.
And I do. Obviously, I push it because I'm president of the Buffalo Rodeo, and Jim's a Buffalo resident. So we keep asking him to show up, but he's always too busy.
Yep, always too busy. It's amazing.
Always bringing the
Every
news.
weekend.
He's the dean.
Oh, he's bringing
being
the
the
news.
dean and whatnot. I
Yeah.
mean,
Out of work. I'm not retired.
He is the dean of,
he's the dean.
of sports.
He's so cool. They call him James Dean.
I wish
Oh.
I had a sausage named after me.
See, Jimmy Dean. I mean, that we can work that out. We can do your guy up there at the butcher.
Yeah,
My
the
God.
butchery.
Yeah, the butchery. He can do that. Turn out some Jim Rich sausage. Yeah.
Well, we got to talk to Tailgate Spices. They could come up with a JimBob spice. I'm sure.
I would think so.
Try that out. All right.
Get that going.
Now, did you talk about, or this not really? I mean, it's big news in Pittsburgh, but the fact that Aaron Rodgers did sign with the Steelers, so no more talk of him coming here. But it was so casual. I saw the video. Somebody saw him wearing a ring on his left ring finger, and they said, "Is that an Aura ring, or did you get married?" And he said, "Married." And instead of saying who, well, congratulations. How do you not ask who did you marry? Nobody knows. People did a story on it. USA did. Every magazine, online magazine, and newspaper has a story, and they don't know who it is. Some woman named Brittany. I'm sure it'll get out, but for the first 24 hours or so, nobody knew who it was.
But wait a minute. He was just with. Okay, I'm not gonna go down that path.
He's been with a lot of different
So
women.
he must have had a couple, 2 or 3, and he was trying to figure out who was going to
Just
be,
like
Playing
he
the
visited
field.
teams. You know,
Right,
he'd go
yeah,
visit
yeah,
the
like his-
Vikings,
yeah.
He visited the Steelers.
I can't wait to see who he chose.
Well, someone
Or who chose him.
they believe it's a woman named Brittany because on the McVeigh show he mentioned her around Christmas time. A Brittany.
She lives in Pittsburgh. That's why she got married, Joe. Convenience.
Yeah.
Could be.
Imagine.
Who knows?
Did you
Just imagine
make
that.
up?
Yeah, I did.
Oh,
Of course. I mean,
I'm glad you believed it, though.
how long has he supposedly been married then?
This is what he did.
A few weeks. This is why he didn't sign.
Oh, okay. All right.
He's had personal matters to tend to.
I totally understand.
Oh, everything-
He must be bothered by a lot of things.
not get pictures.
You know what?
No
That's
one
what I
has
thought.
A picture of this
No one
person.
likes
you know
him.
what? You know what he
no
did,
one
though?
likes him.
But still,
No.
people will click on
He
it.
did it now to get the paparazzi following him around in Pittsburgh. That's why he did this.
Really? You think so?
Yeah, he
Just
wants
a
more
ploy?
attention. He's an attention hound.
That's what he is.
Cancer.
There's no question.
Truly.
Cancer.
He is. I'm telling you, if anyone can handle him, Tomlin can.
I agree.
But I don't like his chances with this guy. I don't like it.
You know what I think? Here's what I really think. So, can I tell you?
Yeah, absolutely.
What I really think.
It's your show.
I'm thinking. No, it's not much. Not much. But I'm just saying. Here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking for the last couple of years, it's been like he's did. Nothing's worked out well for him. He's been injured and all that kind of stuff. And I'm thinking that he knows this might be his last. This is his last rodeo, and he wants to go out a champion. And I think he might bring the best of himself there, hopefully. And if he stay away from the radio stuff that he does during the season,
He won't.
well,
He gets $1 million. I think doesn't he get $1 million for doing that.
per episode.
well, maybe
Phil.
does it? $1 million per
I
episode?
think so.
No, it's for the year.
You sure?
I don't know what it is, but anyway, if he brings the best of himself, because he's got some weapons to work with, he's got a heck of a coach there, and first of all, Pittsburgh got to win some games in the playoffs this year.
Also,
Right now.
Except for Tomlin.
Yeah, because he's been there a long time, but that's Pittsburgh, and they need to get some good things going.
note to fantasy football fans: draft DK Metcalf because he's really the only receiver in Pittsburgh.
Right, yeah,
and
because
if he
Pickens
stays
left.
healthy, Pickens, he's gone, and
He's gone.
they just got other guys.
But there must be, knowing Tomlin, because he was here, there must be people in play that he's really comfortable with that that they haven't let loose yet.
You talking about receivers?
Yeah.
Tomlin or
Tomlin.
Rodgers?
I'm saying Tomlin. There's got to be, besides DJ Metcalf, there's got to be people in camp or people that they know.
But Rodgers is going to
It-
throw to guys that he's comfortable with, and that
Right,
would be
but-
DK Metcalf.
He's going to throw to DK Metcalf, but he's going to have to come with some other people too. I don't know what kind of tight end they have, or
They got running backs that can
but
catch.
they got some running backs. So I'm just interested to see, now that we know where he's going to be, to see if he just brings the best of himself there. And I think, with Pittsburgh and their makeup and their background, I think those guys, if he handles himself right, they'll all come
Right.
together, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it could be, a lot like when Favre came here
Right.
that 1 year and elevated
Right.
everybody's play. Because
sure.
that was the key to Brett Favre and that Vikings team.
Right.
That it wasn't just about him, but he made Percy Harvin better.
Right.
He made Sidney Rice better.
Right.
He made Adrian Peterson better. All those guys had career years
Right.
when he was there because he was telling all those guys, this is what I need you to do. And like he told Percy, Percy told me that he said, when I throw you the ball, I'm not hoping you catch it. I know you're going to catch it. That I'm not just throwing it your way because hopefully something will happen. I see something for you. You can make that catch. And Harvin said, that's the first quarterback that told me that I'm throwing to you because I know you can make something happen. And so all of a sudden he says, you catch anything I throw your way, you're not going to get killed, because that's the big fear, right? And there's the one story he tells, Harvin just said he threw this pass that was behind him on his hip, and it spun him completely around, and then Percy took off, gained another 10 yards, whatever. Comes back to the huddle and goes, I saved you. That was a terrible throw. What a terrible throw. I saved you, old man. And he just told him, shut up, look at the tape later. And then they went on the next one. So they looked at so Percy's on the plane, he's looking at the video, and there was a guy coming that would have absolutely decapitated him. But by throwing behind him and turning him around, that guy completely missed him.
Right.
And Harvin went the other way and never knew that guy was there. And he sheepishly said, I walked back to the plane and told him, sorry.
I'm going to be interested to see how it goes, though.
He's very capable. I think he's still
Yeah.
capable of all those things. I don't know how the Achilles has really done.
Well, he's
in,
had
in
a
terms
year.
Of,
He's had a year.
He had a year, but you wonder if he's
over a year to heal.
Yeah.
And I think with the makeup of the Pittsburgh Steelers and those guys, they got grit.
I agree.
Rodgers and Tomlin, is that a mix that we think is going to be successful?
I think
strange.
you know
It's
why
really strange.
You know why I think it's gonna work? Because of the respect for each other.
Okay.
Others' accomplishment.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot to that. I think
I do.
I agree with a lot of that.
I think like when he went to the Jets, he was bringing in the guys that he wanted. I mean,
That won't happen here.
that ain't happening
No.
in Pittsburgh.
No.
I got to think they've had a long
You know what I
conversation
mean?
or two.
Yeah, because like when you give a player that much control, then you already lost.
Well,
Yeah.
it might be the first coach he actually respects. We'll see.
I think so. I think
All
love
right,
that.
we need
Yep.
to wrap up. Going to take a quick break. The JimBob Sports Jamboree. Be right back. On behalf of Vikings legend Chuck Foreman and Fox 9's Jim Rich, I'm Bob Sansevere, and I want to say thank you to all of our listeners and our radio partners, KXRA in Alexandria, KRWC in Buffalo, KDHL in Faribault and Owatonna, KDAL and WDSM in Duluth, WNMT in Hibbing, KTOE in Mankato, AM 660 The Bear, WBHR in St. Cloud, and Wild 102 FM in Roseau. Also, KWOA AM FM in Worthington, and KKBJ in Bemidji, and Bob Total Country serving the Twin Cities of Minneapolis, St. Paul, and surrounding areas. We'll talk to you later.